very prosperous for Jake. And then I Central Park, and it's a big ass park, man. That was a big neighborhood. That was a pretty big neighborhood. It was all, and it had them gigantic, 1,000-year-old trees that were still there too. You had trees that were just as wide as this part of the storefront that we had. All right, because the residue of them were there, because they cut them down and built little houses out of them. But the roots are still in the ground, man. All right, imagine them buildings. Some of those trees would have been as tall as some of them high-rise buildings around there had they left them alone. But that was a Jake neighborhood, like it was one not that far from here.
And it's go ahead, brother. It's an account of that, but it's a similar account of that. I'm just summarizing First Maccabees, the 14th chapter or something. But they saw how Simon had set up the land in great glory. It was pretty much. It wasn't like the times in this country they destroyed the neighborhoods and destroyed what we built, and they hid it. And then when you bring it out, they want to call it CRT or something like that.
Yeah, Black Wall Street.
They don't, and there was so many neighborhoods like that all across America that were prospering, that were doing very well, and they destroyed them out of just jealousy and hate. All right, our families were together, our businesses were flourishing, we were doing well. All right, but then they put it to the point where they wanted us to depend on the government, and then make fun of us when we do.
That's what they did to Ephraim.
Yeah, and Eve felt very uncomfortable hearing that as she was standing there with her enemy, her enemy's family. All right, and she defiled anyway. She would not be claimed on that day. Okay, the only thing she could be claimed for
I think in the 18th century, going into the early 19th century, a hurricane or tornado hit Puerto Rico. And Ephraim was doing good economically. Ephraim was doing good on it. But Esau, after that, they're giving them aid. Because guess what? They wanted Ephraim to depend on them.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Look at, I was just looking at an image of how the Levites annihilated all of the French Edomite army. How they were running around with Edomite heads in their hands, man. Celebrating victory. Right? And the Levites have been oppressed. They've been oppressed ever since, man.
Yeah.
All right? They are oppressed for fighting for their own freedom. For building, and they've been oppressed by every government, including the Levite yesterday. The dude from Levi,
right?
The rabbi said opposite, man.
Right.
This rabbi said, yes, that is.
Yep. Here go the scripture prove it. Deuteronomy 28 and 46. No, I'm sorry, 45.
Yeah, 45. Yeah.
Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, overtake thee, till thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of Yahweh thy power to keep his commandments, and statutes we command thee.
Right. He said those curses are on you like a tattoo, man. They just don't come off. They fade, but they stay there.
Verse 46, and they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder.
For a sign and wonder, man.
Upon thy seed forever.
So when you look at the curses in Deuteronomy, and you start applying them to the people on the earth, man, you're gonna find that they only really fit one people. And the rabbi was saying it.
Right.
The rabbi was in agreement with it. He was like, well, because it was a short video about less than a minute long, but in that short period of time, he confirmed that Deuteronomy 28 has to be talking about the slave experience that happened here in the Americas and throughout the world that happened to the so-called Negroes. And the natives were a part of that as well, man. Jeremiah 50 and 33.
If I
Because you got to remember.
Oh, Slack, I was going to say, I believe Harry Rosenberg said the same thing.
Yeah, he did. He's also a rabbi. So he said the same thing. And they're not the only two. Many of them have said it. Because if you look at it honestly and you read it and you apply it and you study it, because he was referencing Egypt. And yesterday I think I found something that, man, there's so many scriptures that are referencing the house of bondage being Egypt. And then the number one saying that matter of fact, get that I think it's Revelation 20 and 9, if I'm not mistaken, that their dead bodies would lie. Would lie. And then somebody get Deuteronomy 28 and 68 as well. We going to Jeremiah 50, 33.
Revelation 11 and 8.
Con, there it is. 11 and 8. Con. and then Deuteronomy 28:68.
Jeremiah.
I got Revelation 11.
Whichever one. We get to Jeremiah first.
Jeremiah 50 and 33 says, "Thus saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together."
So that was talking about both the northern and the southern kingdom, which have been separated. Esau can't have that. Which have been separated for thousands of years at this point, at the time of the slave trade. Hence the reason why they didn't really know each other when they came. They looked different. They have been through different captivities, man, under different nations, under different people. All right, but their customs and their ways and some of their language survived, and that's how they were able to identify each other, man. That's why in a lot of cases they were helping each other, just the way Reuben and Judah hooked up and fought against Andrew Jackson. All right.
And all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go.
Yeah, so, and starting with Cristobal Colon, which I got some new information about him. It's deep. Whoa, I got to look more into it, though, you know, before I go speaking on it. But it was some pretty heavy info about Cristobal Colon, which the world ignorantly calls Christopher Columbus. Go ahead.
And the proof that that's talking about the tribes you see on the sign, man, the so-called Latinos and the natives, although Esau wants full control of the earth, we're pretty much the only people that, you know, he won't allow to have any type of sovereignty, even a little bit.
And there's a reason for that.
Yep.
There's a reason for that. The whole UN is basically came together not to keep Russia out, but to keep these people down.
Right.
All right? So these people don't know their true nationality. They've been labeled with all those bywords. Just like the go ahead. No, the next scripture.
Right.
The Revelation. No, get Deuteronomy first, then Revelation.
Okay.
11 and 8. Go ahead. You know what? Somebody grabbing in Exodus. I think Exodus 7 and 5. Somebody grab that. And then somebody also get the house of bondage, out of the house of bondage. And there's so many of those.
Oh, yeah.
It's about 10 or 15 of those.
That's in Deuteronomy 5.
Yeah, and the whole, it's in Joshua's, it's in a lot of different spots in the Bible.
There's one that says hot iron furnace or something.
But it's in there quite a few times.
Oh, hell no.
And I was looking it up yesterday. And it popped up quite a bit. But go ahead, bring those out, Mama Shaq.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 68, and it reads through the Holy Scripture. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
Right, so into Egypt again. Egypt meaning the house of bondage. All right? And America is associated with what? With bondage. Bondage meaning what? Slavery. So it said slavery again with ships. That never happened to the Rosenbergs.
Amen.
They didn't go into slavery with ships.
That's why people
All right.
deaf right now, because little nigga like that, man.
Go ahead, read.
Right? Yeah, he gonna say, y'all feel like y'all put this sign.
By the way thereof I speak unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again.
Right, so they were told they would never see Egypt again, man. They would never see Israel again. And for the most part, they haven't. As a nation, they haven't. You got a small group of people that went over there on accord, not, you know, basically disobeying prophecy, trying to move their own destiny. But all the people that went over there, they gonna die over there with them heathens, man. I seriously doubt that there's any elect among our people that went over there. But you know what? I wouldn't be shocked though if there's some elect that scattered that look like the actual heathen that were there. But the people who willfully went over there disobeying the scriptures, the chances are there. The Lord probably, yeah, man, right. The Lord probably gonna get rid of all of them, man. He may save a few of the women and the children alive from childbearing. That may be about it. You know. Go ahead.
And thou shalt see it no more again, and that you shall be sold unto your enemies, for bondmen and bondwomen.
Right. So that's the slave man and the slave woman. The Rosenbergs were never sold as slave men and slave women, man. They do not fit that prophecy. All right. They don't. We're on Wabash. Not even a mile away is the jewelry district. And about 90% of the jewelry stores that are in that jewelry district, in those 2 blocks of jewelry stores and the high-rise buildings, like it was at 5 South Wabash, that whole building is I know one Jake in there that owns a jewelry shop. Right. All his neighbors in that building are Jewish. All right. Because I had clients in there years ago, when money was actually flowing in Babylon.
It was a good sit down with money.
Yeah, it is. Good title, brother. Because it ain't flowing now. Only people getting rich is the super wealthy, man. Everybody else, and I repeat, Esau can't have that. Go ahead. It's 1 degree interrated.
And no man shall buy you.
And no man shall buy you, meaning no man shall redeem you. The rabbi read the scripture, man. And he broke it down and he said, hey, that's talking about these people right here. He had his little yarmulke on, or whatever you call it, the little thing that covers your crown unrighteously, when your crown is supposed to be open. Because they do everything opposite of what's righteous. Okay? Yeah, but he broke that down and he was making mockery of people who might be coming against him. It was like it's a typical video. Usually they try to make fun of it like it's not so. And he was clowning the people who were saying, how could you say this is not them?
Right.
And that's the proof that the Lord is true, man. He said, I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, man.
Romans 9:26 real quick.
I think we
all right? Because it was prophesied that in the place where we were called by all these other names, our real nationality would come forth, man. That's prophesied in the Bible, man.
I got it.
Go ahead, read it.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 9, verse 26.
Which is one of the heaviest chapters in the whole New Testament. All right, it's coming as pertaining to the identity of the children of Israel. All right.
And that's what I was gonna fuck this place up. That's all that's walking down the street, man. It's just fucking whole ass northern people.
Man, we just saw a whole bunch of big breasts and big butts. Matter of fact, everybody saw it. All right. They done brought all kind of attention to themselves. They wanted attention, man. And the thing is that, she wasn't like butt ugly or nothing, but the girl was probably hot about 30 pounds ago. And the problem is she still thinks she's 30 pounds ago. That's like that chick who constantly put on her social media, putting up her picture when she was in college, knowing that she don't look like that.
She had two extra breasts down here.
Yeah.
On the left side and on the right
Yeah,
side.
she was smashing it all down.
Like,
So she had right. It's like, damn, you look like a cow. She got a whole bunch of breasts.
Still hot.
She didn't have breasts. She had breast assists. They was all over the place, man.
All right, she said, you ever say triple D?
Right.
Instead of a stomach or a rent.
Right.
Yeah.
So there was nothing to be proud of, man.
You know she got money, so
Yeah,
tonight.
I would just hate to be her father.
Alright,
That she was ashamed of her father.
I'm not saying like that.
Whomever and wherever he is, his daughter just shamed the hell out of him.
Jacob was
And there was certain periods of time and places where she'd have got put to death for that kind of behavior, man. All right? Hell, they just found a girl. She gonna find herself chained to a pipe in the basement in the mattress. They just found a woman like that. I kept saying that's gonna start happening, man.
Right. Hey, so tell what happened. You said you thought there was a dude. Don't put your pants up there after the
Everybody saw that. Yeah,
but just tell her what happened. Cause he just brought up
I
how
almost
you.
fucking beat two bitches.
But she
I'm
said.
glad I didn't have to, but shit, no, I almost came out of that.
You thought
that ain't get shot
thought
either.
she was a dude. He thought put your punch out there was
It
a
was
lesbian.
what was so bad about it is that the motherfucker that was dressed like a dude was more humble than the other bitch. I mean, she still needed her ass fucked up too, but it ain't no way, man. Y'all walking, and that's the reason why they lied about that whole whatever they had or whatever. They could have been telling the truth, but I know a motherfucker that's already crazy. If they got something, they just gonna use it. They're gonna at least show you, right? But it was one of those instances where these, instead of humbling down, women still want to act prideful and act like they can fuck a man up,
Like they tough.
like they're fucking tough. Cause
Like
they
she
knew I
gonna-
could beat their ass.
Like she gonna come out her
With
stuff
one swoop.
and knuckle you up. You're
She
right.
said she had her pants down.
Her shit, and that's the thing. And it'd be a lot of them that be fucking thick as hell. And man, I'd be wrong if I just walked up to the bitch and I just did. Yeah, like some crazy ass shit, man.
Because there's cats out here who will do
Who
that.
will fucking do that?
I just watched a video. There was a video that's circulating on YouTube still to this day, where this chick got out, pulled up in the gas station, got out to get gas, and on her way to the pay for her gas, she got hunched by every dude there. All the dudes was coming up, getting up on her, putting their crotch on. She all in the middle of them, getting humped there. She's just trying to go pay for her gas.
Oh yeah.
All right. So how much more if she came out with all her cheeks out, you know, sagging like she'll do?
Like the elder said, tag will come. 911 ain't on call.
But in this society,
like, and that's
you dumbass women don't go put clothes on. You go outside and protest and tell people about the problems that you just went through that you could have fucking prevented.
Exactly.
It's just like the elder says, it's gonna be time when you wish you pulled up damn pants.
Right. Like I bet you, like that woman that was tied to the radiator and handcuffed and chained to that radiator inside that abandoned house.
Right.
And they said dude had her in there. I don't know how long. They said it was quite a few days, but he said he would come in there every day and have his way with her.
Yeah, this bunny.
Yeah, so he come in there every day and have his way with her. She chained up.
Yeah.
She couldn't do nothing but take it. And that's probably what he was telling her. Take it.
What did Jake say?
Smack.
Jake said,
right.
she
couldn't do nothing but take it.
It hurts my heart that it's like it.
You know, and if it wasn't for some kids that heard her screaming and banging and making noise, and some kids told a man, and a man, you know, kicked in the door and found her and went and went and got the authorities. But he could have been, you know, she was lucky that he wasn't some crazy asshole rapist too, because he could have been like, oh shit, my turn.
Like 2 days ago, I was coming from the downtown on Jackson Boulevard, you know where H-Mart at?
Yeah.
I was walking down the street, it's a 7-Eleven. One of the guy, he was drinking. He seen the daughter keep on run to the building. She had on like that workout outfit.
Yeah.
He said, yeah, suck my. Those times coming, man, they gonna start snatching you.
Yeah, it's gonna happen, man.
Yeah.
And you saw how cowardice those cops were that allowed all those children to die in that situation down there.
Yeah.
And then it comes out that they went in there and saved their own children.
Wow.
But they didn't. Right? They went in there, got their own children out of school and stayed outside, man. Cowards.
Yeah.
Let those children die, man. So when this thing go down, these centurions gonna leave y'all hanging. Because guess what? They gonna know. Matter of fact, centurions gonna be targets on that day too.
Yep.
All right, I just saw a bunch of female centurions. All of them was fine as hell and little as hell. What the hell they gonna do? Except end up chained up to in the basement, right? Chained up to a radiator, getting clapped.
Yep.
And it's gonna be worse for them because they are centurions.
Yep.
And after dude have his time, he gonna start charging at the door.
Dang.
That's how.
I'm done with it.
Right. You're like, hey, ain't nobody gonna believe him until somebody come out. Tell them how they just cracked 2 bad bitches.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, black
OnlyFans is something
They'll be
I
like,
can
what?
touch.
They'll be like, hey man, hey, you have whatever you charge. They gonna line up at the door. It's gonna get that bad, man.
Yep.
All right, but let's get back to that scripture, Papa.
This is the book of Romans chapter 9 verse 26, and it reads, and it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people, there shall they be called the children of the living power, Yahweh thy power.
Right, so it said in the place where you were called not my people, it shall be said you are the people. That's what we call Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, blacks, niggers, coons, spicks. We're called all these things. That's a prophecy. And we wouldn't be called by who we are. But in that place, it shall be said, you are. And all the evidence in the Bible and all the relics that are being found all over the world that they just choose to ignore, prove it. All right? Bring it out, brother.
This is Zephaniah 3:19. It says, behold, at that time I will undo all that afflict thee, and I will save her that halted.
You know you can watch this free on the internet
What's her name?
with the Hebrew Israelites. You can go to GMS Chicago and all our videos will pop up.
On YouTube?
Yeah.
Hebrew Israelites? I'm a Hebrew Israelite as well.
What tribe are you from?
I'm from Israel.
The people in Israel are not Hebrew Israelites.
Huh.
I disagree with that. Unless you happen to be one of the scattered. unless you happen to be one of the scattered. Prophecy
You're a
said
Hebrew Israelite of Chicago?
yes, the prophecy said that land was occupied by Edom in the last days, and that the true children of Israel would go into slavery on ships. We just read it. Read it again. Go to Deuteronomy 28 off the show.
I will listen on the internet.
Okay.
Interesting.
All right. Have a nice day.
Nice day.
But continue.
Yeah, this is Zephaniah 3:19. It says, "Behold, at that time I will undo all that afflict thee, and I will save her that hold thee."
And I gave the benefit of the doubt, because the truth is, some of our people are gonna look like him.
Right.
I just said it before he walked up. Some of it's true, but his spirit that was an Edomite.
He had that eagle symbol too, that shirt.
Yeah.
The eagle on this.
We had on the Ramones shirt.
Yeah.
You know, the Ramones are a pretty popular band from back in the day. I think they were the first, like, what do they call it? People in the wild that black and shit.
Oh, wow.
They goth. They were like one of the first goth people like that band. I feel there's a name for that type of music. But yeah, so the goth people really love the Ramones.
His spirit was cut, man.
An Edomite with an Israeli accent. And gather her that was driven out. And I will give them praise and fame in every land where they have been put to shame.
Right. And see, we've been put to shame, man. And now, hey, the world knows these faces, man. We know it ain't no hiding from Esau Edom, because they know we're all famous right now.
Yep.
Or maybe more infamous.
Yep.
But the world knows these faces, man. All right, and we're still, but this shame that's on us is gonna turn to fame. And only the Lord can do that, man. We can't do that. And we don't have to lift up a gun, a knife, or nothing. We don't have to do that. All we got to do is lift up these Bibles, man. Lift up the words. The Lord gonna do all the rest, man.
Through the Spirit, man. We hopped in the fire as the three holy children, man. You know, and trusting in the Lord, He's gonna protect us and get us up out of it, man.
That's right.
And He's gonna throw y'all ass in like those evil servants, man. You know,
God. That's right. That's right. We're gonna get picked right up out of there, and they gonna get tossed right in there.
Right.
All right. By the collar and the back of their pants. Right. Go flying right in there. Screaming. Ah! Next. Right. Tossing their ass right in that fight.
Yep.
Call the lawyer how about show y'all. All right, but then we have another scripture.
Revelation 11.
Yeah, Revelation 11 and 8. Right. So the Lord said, oh no, before you get that, Exodus 7 and was that 7 and 5?
Yeah, because that Azar, man, you know, he came up here and he wanted to show up, yeah, I'm Israeli, but when the truth was about to prove who the real Israelites were, he didn't want to hear that part.
And the words really mean citizen of the modern day state of Israel.
You know, they took that shit away.
Oh, they did.
When you go to search for it, it would say, it'll say citizen of that's all it says now. It says citizen of modern day Israel. And but it used to say, the definition used to read, not to be confused with the ancient Israelites, right? Wow. But they removed that part, and now, they took that off. Same way they took off they changed the definition of Ham and the Zondervan.
Right.
They took away not the Negroes. So they're trying to group the Negroes with the Africans now.
Right.
But they used to make the separation.
Right.
So they changed the not the Negroes, but the other dark nations, right? So they carefully trying to cross their T's and dot their I's to continue to hide the truth, man. Because then when you bring out the truth today, you just call it conspiracy.
What they call it, revive.
That's right. All right? Because the truth is that no one wants to hear the truth. The truth is actually very offensive. People get angry at the truth because it makes them uncomfortable. Right? It simply makes them uncomfortable. You can't have a few good men.
Yeah,
and that's what we are. We're a few good men. You know? But you got that Exodus?
Exodus 7 and 5. And it reads, and the Egyptians shall know that I am Yahweh when I stretch forth my hand upon Egypt and bring out the children of Israel from among them.
And that's getting ready to happen again. All right, out of the house of bondage.
This is Exodus 13:3. And Moses said unto the people, remember this day in which you came out from Egypt, out of the house of bondage.
Right, so Egypt is directly referring to being brought out of slavery. And so the Bible, the prophecy is that the Israelites were going to slavery again with ships into Egypt again, into the house of bondage. And that happened here in America, all right? Because the slave trade started with the inhabitants of America, which was the Northern Kingdom, all right? Then, almost 100 years later, they started going to West Africa to get Judah, all right? And there were some Judites that were here already, man. So, you know, they're not talking about this in history at all, man. You're not going to hear this in church. You're not going to hear it in the synagogue. They don't want to talk about this.
So those Jakes in West Africa, man, they was expertise in carpentry, masonry, agriculture, herbs and stuff, herbs and everything.
Yeah,
medicine,
a lot of knowledge that they brought with them, and they found a lot of knowledge here.
Yeah.
All right, and they're using it to make money to this day. Chili's all in my face.
Without that, there won't be no rice on, because Jake knew how to brew rice over there in Africa and stuff.
Correct.
Right, yeah. And how to raise cattle and stuff, money and all this stuff, man. How to build cabins and all these tool making and all that stuff. That's why you think stuff what happened in West Africa for a while, man. Because it was like,
Yeah. And it's amazing too. The Lord has given us a good preview. All these people that are walking by, all these people in Babylon, none of them are gonna make it, man. And when they all come back, they're gonna come back as our servants anyway. Right? And all these half-naked women out here, they just getting marked for servitude, for being handmaids. All right, they are going to be handmaids, man. The scriptures clearly declare it. All right, point blank period, man.
and they ready.
It's like the truck driver here. The one driving the truck. All know.
Oh yeah, she got a milkshake. Bring the boys in the yard.
But go ahead, read that. You can read that Revelation now, because he said he's going to bring us out of Egypt, man. Again, and this salvation is going to be greater than the last one, man. You got that Revelation 11:8?
Yes, sir. All right. Revelation 11:8. And their dead bodies shall lie in the streets of the great city. And America is a great city. You got New York, first city, Chicago, second city. It's all connected to different highways and expressways.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Yeah. Which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt.
Which is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt. So that was talking about this place, man. Why is it called Sodom and Egypt? Well, you remember, it's because it was bondage for the Israelites, and then the spirit here is like that of ancient Sodom, which was a freakish, existence.
You can do anything you want. You can bury a dog, a tree, a rock.
There was all kind of freakism going on there.
You can bury your mom.
And the Bible speaks against that kind of freakism.
Yep.
Right? As a matter of fact, Leviticus 20:13 is very specific about, about men with men and women with women and animals and shit like that.
Yep.
That is forbidden. Right? The Lord is not with that.
Yep. It says,
Right? That's how a lot of these diseases that are around today directly go back to those behaviors, man. Especially the animal thing.
Banging animals on that boat and stuff like that. That's how they get lice and stuff like that.
All manner of things. Syphilis and gonorrhea, herpes, all that. It came from the Edomites having relations with the goats and the sheep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
You love eating that bacon and ham and stuff. He might be having relations with the hog.
Oh damn! The hog just defiled everyone.
Right.
Not only has he fed it dead things and all other manner of things, he done put seed in it. Then they throw it on the table and eat it.
Yeah.
There you go, man.
Some foods be defiled.
How much more defiled can you get?
Right. It says, where also our at one Lord was crucified.
Right. So the Lord was crucified here. Why? Because in this place was the main place where the false image that's not biblical was pushed upon the whole world of what the Lord looks like. The Lord has been displayed in America and around the world the opposite of what the Bible tells you what he looks like. And the funny thing is that most people that are not from here, they're very well aware of that. I even had Europeans, especially ones coming from Poland and Russia, tell me that they never seen a white, what you call Jesus, until they came to America.
Yeah.
Because over there they worship dark deities. All right? They do.
You hear that, JD?
Dark, and even the false gods of Elo, all their deities are dark.
You hear that, JD?
You know?
007 on TikTok.
So I mean, it is what it is. Yeah, I had more than one. I had a couple different Polish people tell me that, and quite a few Russians as well, man.
Right.
They never even saw those images until they came here. All right. So read that again.
Revelation 11 and 8. The part where it says,
Yeah, just read the whole thing.
It says, Revelation 11 and 8, and their dead bodies shall lie the street of the great city.
Right, and they will refer to them as being dead, because when you don't know who you are, you're in a dead state. Right, you're a no people. Especially if you are actually identifying yourself by a color. All right? Yeah, you identify yourself by a color. This just goes to show you how ignorant you really are. You've been lied to, and you drink the juice. All right, the Lord didn't create races by color. All right, color never, color was never that important. What was really important in the Bible was the seed, the nationality, the seed you came from. That's why in the ancient world, when you came to a new land, the people wanted to know who your father was, because contrary to popular belief, your identity is through your father, regardless of what your mother is or looks like. Whatever your father is, that's what you are. Point blank, period. And that's the way it's always been up until this captivity. Go ahead, brother.
In the scripture, King David asked that Edomite who your father is before he spiced them up.
Right.
He couldn't go back. He said, "Hey, who your father is?"
Right. He was like, "What did you?" Right. Exactly. Who did you say you were again?
Right.
And he told him he was I think he was an Amalekite on top of that.
Yeah.
He was the worst of the Edom.
Yeah.
You know? He was Amalek.
Then he lied.
When his name Doeg?
Yeah, it was Doeg the Edomite. Oh, that's just red.
He said, "Who your daddy is?" He said, "Who your father is?"
Right. He didn't ask him what color are you.
Right.
All right. Because all we know, that Doeg could have been brown skinned. Because the Edomites was popping brown skinned women, man. All right.
Jacob popped those Edomites and the kids mess around popping up. Or
Yeah, exactly.
Or the kids just come out light skinned.
There you go.
No, that's
It says, reading Revelation 11 and 8, their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great cities, which spiritually called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified.
Right. That image was pushed really hard here, man. That false image. It was forced upon Jacob with great violence. All right? With great violence was it pushed upon them. It wasn't pushed upon them peacefully. All right? Next one.
Read verse 9.
Go ahead.
It said, they of the people, kindreds, and tongues, and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half, and shall not suffer their bodies to be put in graves.
Right. So they made sure that we never knew who we were. All right. And so every time we bring this sign out, they try to come against it. But if you actually go into the history, you can't. Regardless of how much you think and feel, when we sit down and you open up your history books and I go into mine, we're going to find out who's right.
Right.
And guess what? I'm going to be right every time. Right? I remember the good old days when the scholars from Moody College used to come up here all the time, man, and we'd embarrass them. You find out that these people, all these so-called pastors and church leaders don't know the Bible as well as you think they do. All right?
He told them, come to us. Don't leave those guys alone.
Yeah. They got a gag. They told, because we had, remember we had a couple of their seniors would come every week.
Yep.
All right?
That was on Jackson Van Buren. White House Washington.
Them was the good old days, man.
Deuteronomy 29 and 29 says the secret things belong unto Yahweh our power, but those things which are revealed belong unto us and to our children forever, that we may do all the words of this law.
Right, my man needs to realize he in Chicago, and if you're gonna blast some music, you gotta blast some real house, bro.
Right. That's some GMO house.
Hey, that's that GMO house. Right. Gotta blast some real house if you're gonna blast it, brother.
GMO house.
That's that garbage house, man. It ain't right. I call it almost house music.
I don't like no house.
But go ahead, brother.
Right. It says, verse 10, and they that dwell on the earth shall rejoice over them and make merry and send gifts one to another.
And did they not, man? They rejoiced over us. And they sent gifts back. Matter of fact, often we were the gifts. All right? You know, what would the father present his growing son with? He present him right. All of a sudden he gave him a winch or two. All right? And then he gave him a buck to be his basically his armor bearer. All right, you had your first slave, and usually, that's how you ended up with a Stephen. He grew up with it right.
Yeah.
It's like, man, I took care of you, pappy. You're right. Say, this was my father's first slave, and now he's mine. He's loyal.
You know what? He never cuts my father's throat.
And you're right, and he could exactly. So he trusted him. Matter of fact, he probably trusted Stephen more than he did his own people around him, man. Because he knew Stephen wasn't going to ever turn on him. He was what we refer to today as a Canaanite. And guess what? They still around.
Well, he did say Candyland never eat.
Never right. Candyland will never die. Nigga. Well, Candyland died and you died with it.
Yeah. It says, because these two prophets torment them that dwell on the earth.
Actually, we can stop with that, bro.
Okay.
This is Ezekiel Chapter 17, verse 3. It says, and say, thus saith the Lord God, a great eagle with great wings, long wing, full of feathers, which had diverse colors, came unto Lebanon and took the highest branch of cedar. He cropped it off the top of his young twigs and carried it into a land of traffic. He set it in a city of merchants, man. You know, which is this is the land of traffic, man. That great eagle being Esau Edom. You know, first as the Romans. You know, now coming back in this captivity. You know, this is the little horn that's mentioned in Daniel. That was brought forth of that Roman Empire, man. You know, this is the rebirth of the Roman Empire, man. You know, and that's why we are set low in this place, man. Because this is all built on the backs and the bones of the so-called natives, the Latinos, and the Negroes, man. When you have us, you have basically the oyster, man. You have that pearl of the oyster, man. You have everything, man. Your kingdom is going to excel, and that's the reason why Esau does not want us to go, man. Go back to Africa. He know we didn't come from Africa. Why don't you send us back? Go back to Mexico. We'll get back the riches that you took, man.
Yeah, this is 2nd Ezra 15 and 10. And it reads, behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. And we are. I mean, look at what just happened recently. A lot of people that took the venom, that are laying on slabs because of the venom, or in their graves because of the venom, was our people. And future people that's going to be on slabs because of the venom. All right? Because it hadn't kicked in yet. All right? It says, I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt. So the Lord, there's going to be a great rescue of the Lord's elect. All right? And it's going to be greater than the first one, man. And you got to think about it, man. It's how many thousand years later and they're still talking about it and making movies about it to this day. Even though, you know, 90% of the movies that they lie as far as you know, what's the word that I'm looking for? Now that the word is leaving me, but when it comes to the image of the Egyptians and the Israelites, they changed the imagery. You know, aesthetics. They're aesthetically incorrect 90% of the time. They're aesthetically incorrect. That's the word I was looking for.
You know that movie, Gods in Egypt, people walked out of the movie because they got tired of Jesus being white.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that movie.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
people walked, they see that movie.
Yeah,
they
because
like,
people knew that, you know, you're gone with that history, man.
Right.
You know, how you going to still push that lie in this time and age? Especially after the Hebrew Israelites have been on you know, and even them Kemet cats
Right.
have been all over the internet, you know, for all these years, man. And the relics that are still around, man. Now you know that when Egypt did become pale, that was after Alexander, after was it Demetrius? The solution. Which one of them went? Yeah, it was Demetrius, right? Yeah, and the solution. One of them, I forget which one of them. I know those two were warm with each other. All right, but that at that period of time is when Egypt became pale, man. Prior to that, Egypt was full of brown flesh people. Stop playing, man.
You talking Ptolemy?
Yeah, totally, right, totally. And totally, yeah, exactly, totally. The water, brother.
Yeah, because and then what's the other movie? Christian Bale about the Exodus. I forgot the one.
Same, that's what he's talking about.
Yeah.
He's in Egypt. That was Christian Bale and the dude from Warrior.
Those two movies, Gods in Egypt, and that Christian Bale movie about the Exodus. Yeah, no, you're right, but but the point is, people walked out of what people didn't go see those movies, but they got tired. They got tired of people of color for their region, Egypt and also Israel, being betrayed and so forth.
Right. Well, it was outright and open racism.
Right.
It was openly racist in Egypt, man.
Right.
And see, and that's funny because you know it's amazing to me how Esau would claim how much he hates racism and step out hate, but yet he won't even acknowledge who you are and continue to call a brown flesh people black. Matter of fact, I ain't seen no black people today yet.
Right.
All right, how you gonna call somebody whose flesh is brown black?
But then
And so our people don't. And then when you ask them,
Right.
they don't know what's going on, man.
And
All right.
The darkest person, you still gonna see a tinge of brown.
Yeah.
They dark.
And most of some of them, and now because of us, some of them know this.
Yeah.
But the majority of them, if I was to stop them three right there and ask them, hey, what are you? They're gonna tell you that they're color. Most more likely than not. They gonna refer to themselves as a color. And they gonna refer to themselves as a color that they're not. Because I'll ask them, hey, show me brown. They'll show you brown. Now show me black. And then they'll show you black and say, is your skin that color? No. Well, what are you? Black. Yo, dumbass, go ahead, go be black.
But then they'll get mad at you because you don't want to be black.
Shalom, brother.
They'll get mad at you because you don't want to be black. Stop lying to you.
Yeah, man. That was a legitimate distraction. Take a picture of the sign. And if you got any questions, we'll answer it.
What time we start?
Yeah, I think we shut down a few back.
3:30. That's fine.
Out of spirit.
We'll go extra 30.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well,
I know the 12 tribes
okay.
from the Bible,
That's
but I also know the Bible is written by man. So,
okay. So you believe the Bible? You don't believe it is inspired by God? So what you say? You don't believe in God?
I'm not sure what God is. I believe in some kind of spirit. I think it's kind of egocentric to think that spirit has characteristics like me.
Okay, so you don't. That's okay that you believe that way.
Yeah.
I believe the complete opposite. That we're made in this image. But I'll ask you this: Do you see? Do you see?
I'm flawed.
Okay, that's fine.
So,
I got a
to say
question.
if I'm made in God's image, that means God's flawed also. And that's the problem I have.
Well, see, I disagree with that as well. But I got a question for you.
Yeah.
You see the wind, the trees blowing in the wind?
Yeah.
Can you see the wind?
No.
So does the wind exist?
The wind is a construct which we experience as the result of pressure changes in the atmosphere.
All is, can you see the wind? You can see what it's doing, but you can't see it.
I evolved so that I can detect. I have senses that will detect
And you
changes.
You're
in
a
atmospheric
professional
pressure.
at evading. You're good at that.
I'm a professor.
So you're good at evading. That's what professors do. That. You're a professor of science.
Yes. So tell
All right.
me
Well,
about
let me. Well, here. Okay. Well, good. Give me second. Second Timothy.
Pardon?
What's your major?
I'm a psychologist.
All right.
Psychology professor.
So he's a psychology professor. Give me a
I want to know about. See, I like to learn.
Okay,
and,
well,
and
fine.
you guys can teach
I'm gonna
me
give you. I'm
something
gonna
I
give you
don't know.
I'm gonna give you a biblical prophecy about what the Bible said about science, because I've studied the.
I want to know about the 12 tribes.
Okay, well, all right. Okay, fine. Okay. Well, guess we're gonna start it all. Guess we won't be shut down after all. Right. We'll start it all over again. Let's go to Deuteronomy. Read verse 1 of 28th chapter. All right. And somebody hold Joel, the 3rd chapter. You already know what I want. All right. And somebody hold Jeremiah, the 50th chapter, the 33rd verse.
Okay. This is Deuteronomy 28:1.
All right.
And it shall come to pass that thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
Right, so he said that his people, the chosen people, would be above. That's a very racist statement. All people on the earth, they would all be beneath them. That's what it said.
Why, again, if people wrote that, right, that reflects a certain degree of privilege of the people who wrote it.
Okay, that's
My
fine and
understanding.
then. Let us finish.
When I think of the children of Israel, when I think of Israel and Judaism, I follow.
But we're not talking about Judaism.
But one of the rabbis,
Judaism is complete opposite of what of the Bible. They worship the Talmud.
But one of the rabbis said it's not that God chose the Jewish people. That is
He
racist.
didn't change them.
It said
Choose
the
them at all.
Jewish people chose God.
And see, that's what we disagree, because the Bible doesn't say that. And the Jewish people worship from a whole other book. They worship from the Talmud. If you take the two books and compare them together,
Well, you just read from the first.
I just read from
Deuteronomy.
Right, and
which is the
Deuteronomy is
Jewish
part
Bible.
of the Bible. No, it's not. Listen to me. That's what they say. The Bible. Look, the first 5 books of the Bible is simply the book of the law. It's a book of history and
Okay,
law.
but that's in the
It's a
Jewish Bible.
legitimate.
That's what some
it's
people
not-
call the Old Testament.
and the
I
old-
find like the Old and New again kind of exclusionary. I prefer to talk about the Jewish Bible. and the
But
Christian
nevertheless, let us continue. We're going to prove to you that what we're saying is right and makes way more sense than what they're saying. All right.
Bible. I just want to hear about the 12
and that's
tribes.
what I'm doing.
Okay.
That's exactly what we were doing before you kind of rudely jumped in there.
I apologize.
All right. Well, go ahead.
Verse 15.
All right. So number one, that was a very racist statement. He read the first one, but he said if they kept basically read it again.
Deuteronomy 28:1, and it shall come to pass that thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God,
Right.
to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
Right. He said, but they didn't follow that. So there was a punishment that was brought unto them, and then there's a whole list. The punishments were way longer than the blessings. So just verse 15. Let's see what verse 15 says.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God,
Right.
to observe and to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day,
Right.
that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
Right. So these curses will come upon them and take. That's also how you know that the Jewish people are not the people of the Lord, because they didn't suffer.
Be careful, because I'm Jewish.
I knew it.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Okay, well, good. But they didn't suffer the curses. When we begin to read those curses, you're going to see. Well, no. They didn't.
Yeah.
No, everybody went through something. But wait. But these curses, they didn't go through. Now let's go to 45 and 46 again.
I got that.
Read it.
This is
And because these curses would ride them like a cheap coat, it would never leave them. You'd actually be able to identify them in the last days according to those curses. The curses would be the identifying mark as to how you knew who the Israelites are today. All right, go ahead.
Deuteronomy 28 and 45. Moreover, all these curses upon thee, and shall pursue thee and overtake thee,
do thou
overtake.
be destroyed.
Right, because it basically, it said they will have nothing. They will be on the bottom in every society that they're in. All right, Jewish people today are not on the bottom in every society they're in. As a matter of fact, most of the properties within a 10-mile radius of here are owned by Jewish people. All right, okay, well that's fine, but that doesn't change from that fact. So they're not under those curses. But go ahead.
Because thou hearkenest not unto the Lord thy God to keep his commandments and his statutes which I command thee.
All right. So now go to verse 68. Go to the last one. Because we can read them all, and then all you're going to see is somebody with a chain around their neck, all right, chained up, naked, and on the ship, getting off the ship. All right. That if we just read through them all, but for time's sake, we're going to jump to the main one, to 68 now.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68.
Right.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
Now we just broke that down. Egypt means the house of bondage.
Yes.
That's what it means. It says, so basically it said the Lord would take you into slavery again with ships. All right? Rosenberg's didn't go into slavery with ships, my man.
They financed this then.
Thank you.
Come on now. All right. So is this their book? No.
Yeah,
this book.
I told you I'm on it.
This book. I'm glad because this book condemns them. All right. But read.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
Right.
By the ways that whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again.
It was Israel. The actual Israelites would never see Israel again until the Lord came the second time and took them back there. They're not going to go on their own. They're not going to get back on ships. They're not going to get on planes. The Balfour Declaration or none of that. It's not until the Lord literally comes down and takes them back. All right, that hasn't happened. That's why the world is in such disarray.
Which is why ultra-Orthodox Jews don't recognize the state of Israel. Because
they know that to be true.
They consider it to be blasphemy.
And I agree with them. And I've actually had conversations with some of them in the past because they're right. All right, but go ahead. On that account, they're absolutely right. I agree.
And there you shall be sold unto your enemies,
right?
For bondmen and bondwomen.
You would never on a slave auction.
You're right.
However, yeah. All right. Go ahead. And so like it said, those curses would be identifying marks on them forever. You would know who they are forever because of the curses. All right, so when we start measuring up, so this isn't about, there are too many, the Bible predicted too many things that came to pass for it not to be true. All right, it told you things thousands of years before they happened, and then they happened. Just everything that's going on in the world right now, we've been saying it for the last 10 plus years. All right, our elders were saying it way before that, and now they're actually happening.
Okay,
all right.
So who are these 12 tribes?
All right, so the West Indies.
Yep.
This is what on this side is what they're called, is what they've been labeled under the curses. When it says go grab that, you'll be called by a byword in the curses.
But I see this sign, it makes me think that these people are cursed, and I don't follow why that would be the case.
They are cursed. They're the Israelites. Oh. That's why they're on the bottom in every society that they're in.
Okay. Now,
they're cursed.
Yeah.
Right.
Deuteronomy.
We didn't hearken.
Deuteronomy 28 and 37. Thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword.
An astonishment and a byword. Everybody wants to see us stand.
So are you saying that in order to get, I hate the term civil rights because it just simplifies things too much.
Okay,
right?
well, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm just saying it makes things too simple. In order to get equal
reparations.
There'll never be reparations.
But in order to get your proper standing,
right,
as included, as full inclusion, full reparations, are you saying that you need the Messiah to come?
Hey, absolutely. It's not going to happen until then. That's part of the curse.
So how do we go ahead and bring the Messiah?
He's on his way. That's what the fact that we're standing out here is prophecy. It was prophesied. Get that Hosea 1:11.
The concern I have with that is there's nothing that people can do.
There's nothing that people. That's look. The Lord said He would pour His Spirit back out on His people. The prophets are all here again. Guess what you're looking at? When you're looking at Ezekiel and Daniel and Joshua.
So suppose I want you to get what you want. What is it that I can do?
Okay, well there's two things. It says in the last days the heathen will seek to entreat us well. Or, we just spoke about this. You could actually be one of us scattered. Because guess what? Listen to me. Listen to me. Listen to what I'm saying. Our people got scattered among all people via slavery. So some of us are going to look like you and other people. All right? And when you look at us, we're all different shades. All right? When you look at these people, they come in all different shades of brown, man. We literally got scattered to the four corners of the earth among all people. So, and the Lord is going to come and sift us out of those people.
Okay.
So this isn't a color thing.
The Lord can actively do that.
I believe He can do that. Because why? Because He wrote this book.
What I want to know is there anything I can do?
There's nothing you can do. If there's nothing you can do. You can do exactly what we do. Wait and be patient. There's nothing else you can do. The world's not going to get better. You and me can go get signs and stand up and walk up and down the street until we fall out, collapse, and die. It will not change a thing. The Lord is going to come back, and He's on His way. It's about to happen. Well, you're about to witness the second rescue from Egypt, and this one is going to be far greater than the first one. They're still talking about the first one to this day. They'll make movies about it, even though they usually get all the images of the people wrong, aesthetically wrong, but they still talking about it to this day, right? This next one is going to make people forget about that one, and that's written. It says that.
Elder, I got it real quick.
Go ahead,
This
brother.
is Jeremiah 16:15. But the Lord liveth. It's like I'm going to start at verse 14. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that it shall no more be said, the Lord liveth that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But the Lord liveth that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north, and from all the lands where they have been driven.
In all the lands they've been driven, man. So that's why the world is in such chaos. One of the reasons why it's in such chaos is because we started prophesying. Our prophesying launched. That's why the world is all the prophecies are coming to pass because of us. That's why remember my face. They're gonna put my face on the news and they're gonna say I'm a terrorist, I'm a murderer. They're gonna say all kind of lies. But none of it's true. All we do is read and break down the Bible and go into history. But the truth be said, all the other things on the internet that they want to shut down, all that's an excuse to really silence us. Because we're the only one, we're the most transparent organization the world has ever seen. Everybody knows what we're about. We're about this book from beginning to end.
You are
all right. We're the prophets of the Lord. Okay. When you read about when you read the book of the Tanakh and you read about all those prophecies, you're looking at them. You're looking at the men who were the prophets and the men who followed them, the men who were scribes for them. All right. We're back, and the fact that the Bible talks about regeneration. Every third, it tells you that all in the book of the law. Every third and fourth generation, you regenerate. Okay. So all of us have been here many a times, man.
You're into science, right?
Yeah.
Energy never dies.
Pardon?
Energy never dies.
No, it doesn't.
But it does.
What it does, it gets recycled. When I die, I'm going to turn into worm food.
Your body will, but your spirit lives on.
Which will then fertilize the trees. Which will then convert solar energy into food, which we will eat.
And you just said,
and I will, and
that's real
my
science.
body will then be consumed by another living being, and I will have immortality in that way.
No. You lost me at the last part. You on point all the way up to that point. But, as a matter of fact, and so now give me Jeremiah 50 and 33. To talk about the northern kingdom.
I'm actually going to have to head back.
All right, we're getting ready to wrap up with this one.
All right, Jeremiah 50 and 33. Thus said Yahweh the host, the children of Israel, the children of Judah.
That's the northern and southern kingdom, because they haven't been together for all these thousands of years until now. When after Solomon died, and the kingdom split, and that's what you look at. These are the tribes of Judah. This was the kingdom of Judah. And this was the northern kingdom. That went back together. And then you can find, and we find this and match it up with prophecy in Genesis, the 49th chapter. All right? That's how we know who's who. Okay?
Well,
all right, we'll be right here for a few more minutes. So you know what? You're welcome to come back, man.
I hope you get what you want.
Well, you know what? We hope it, but we also know it. But thank you, though. I appreciate that. You know it, and if you are a heathen, if you happen not to be one of our people, I'm claiming you, and you're gonna be on my plantation. All right.
fine with that.
All right, and I remember that you actually spoke some truth. All right, but go ahead, brother.
All right, first, continuing in Jeremiah 50, verse 33. Thus said Yahweh the host, the children of Israel, the children of Judah were pressed together, and all of them took captives, held them fast, and refused to let them go.
And there you go, man. So with that, we're going to give all praises, all honor, and glory unto Yahweh.
Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash.
Wa abba
Abba, Abba.
Good.